Metro Manila, a labyrinth of interconnected cities and home to some 20 million people. Here, a Destiny Rescue team is constantly scouring the streets for fresh leads in the fight against child sex trafficking.
Small group here. That's the side street he was talking about where they did the raid.
Operation Kingpin has taken undercover agents into uncharted areas of this metropolis in the hope of finding and rescuing children ensnared by human traffickers.
We're looking for girls a bit younger than this.
We had never worked this particular region before.
You want massage?
We know how prevalent human trafficking is, and victims are just scattered throughout the Philippines.
Young girls.
So when we got there, we started talking to different bar staff, bar owners, right through to your bus drivers, truck drivers.
There are young girls too. Okay. Very young girl, beautiful.
Filipina girl.
If you like the girl, pick up into the hotel for a night until tomorrow morning. That's it.
Yeah. Not old.
The one thing that stood out for us, whoever we talked to, they'd always point us in the one direction. They'd always give us one particular name.
It was a street pimp. This particular pimp was known as the pimp to supply children. So it didn't matter where in the region we asked for children, they'd always refer to this pimp.
Only a long-established child trafficker could earn this reputation amongst fellow perpetrators. His longevity points to a well-organized, calculating, and dangerous individual.
After a couple of weeks of trying to hunt down this one particular suspect, we finally got to meet him. And from there it was a matter of establishing that trust, establishing that rapport with him. Okay, so it's working.
Our local guys drove us out to the back streets in a dangerous part of the city. The pimp ushered us over to the side street. He had a protective ring of guys around him that were looking out all the time. People were moving around and doing what he said. Right there and then you could tell that he was someone to be careful of, for sure.
Where do we go?
So we're looking at 20 girls on this side.
Are they bringing them to us?
We'll bring it out.
Posing as customers, the agents ask to see the girls he's alleged to control.
He sent a couple of guys down this dark alley and then they came back with the young girls for us to see and basically take our pick of which girl we wanted. For these kids to be paraded in front of us as a commodity, as something to buy, you know, you never get used to having to purchase children.
I think it'll be all right with the yellow and the
What about light blue over there?
could.
Huh? I'll go. I don't care either one.
These two are
definite.
They're a lot newer.
Yeah. Fresh.
The fact that he gave the command to go and get the underage girls, we knew it was him. This was the guy. We had him talking on video, clearly that they were underage.
You just pick whatever. I'll just say whatever. Which one you reckon? So.
To cement this damning evidence against the pimp, the agents must instigate a drive-by, a cash agreement for the sexual services of a child.
Basically, it's meeting up with the pimp, choosing a child that he had for offer and paying money, taking them to a hotel, and then making an excuse to leave before obviously anything bad happened to the child.
The pimp agreed a price for two of the girls we were sure were underage. He wanted to choose the time and the place for the deal to happen, making sure everything was done the way he wanted it done. Because he had taken control of the situation, it actually gave us a little bit of breathing space to chat through any safety concerns that we might have once we got to the hotel. around the truck there was probably 4 or 5 other guys that were there, going off to get girls, telling them to come back when that young one was trying to run away. One guy chased her down the street, so you'd have to assume that he won't come on his own.
That's
He's
right.
going to bring boys with him.
Males can get a lot more violent, especially since we are taking what they would consider their property, their merchandise, their goods away from them. This is their profit, their livelihood. So you can imagine that they would get pretty violent. So it's crucial that we stay undercover. We have to watch what we say and how we act, and definitely with the surveillance gear that we do bring, that it goes unnoticed.
We'll jump back in the hotel just up the road. They'll get transported there.
The children are being transported by motorbike to a nearby hotel. Here, the pimp will rendezvous with the agents in an underground car park, where the exchange of cash for the girls will take place.
Who are we paying for that? How much is it?
Leave a tip. It's 1.5.
It's 1.5, leave a tip of what?
Give the girl 500.
And tip the pimp?
We need to get on camera the purchasing of the girl and exchanging of the money. Try and identify where the money goes once you've purchased the girl, who receives the money, and then what services and what the girl would do for that type of money. Because without that, we have nothing to give to the police.
The future of this investigation hangs on the next 90 seconds. If the team fails to capture the cash exchange on camera, then they have no concrete evidence to present to the police.
I'll pay the guy, yeah. Enjoy yourselves. Yeah, there is. This one's 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
No change.
Blue one, the yellow one.
We captured that moment on camera, him receiving the money. That was the whole purpose and intent for that night, to prove that his intent was to sell children for sex. Obviously, we don't have sex with the children, so we need to come up with an excuse until he's left the premises. So we were stalling sex. You're just talking, trying to get her to tell her things about herself, so she's telling you about home or whatever. And the more she can stop and talk, she feels more relaxed, and she's not working. And if the customer's okay with that, then she's okay with that. How long do you work here? One week, 1 day? 1 day. First day today.
In an adjoining hotel room, Tony waits with the other child for the all clear for the agents to make their excuses and leave.
You have to make up a decent excuse that she's going to believe why you're not wanting to have sex. So, you make up, you've got a phone call or a message that something's happened, and so you've got to leave. So you're just getting it to the point where you've got enough on camera to show the intent that this girl, would have sex, paid sex, and then wrap it up as quickly as possible and get out of there.
The pimp leaves with the cash, and the support team sends the agents upstairs a predetermined message, giving them the excuse they need to vacate the hotel.
You have one new message.
Boss, we got a situation here at the construction site. Can you get here now? A fire has broken out and it's spread across the top 3 floors of the building. It looks pretty serious. You really need to get here now.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to go to.
Okay.
Both girls bought and believed the excuse that we gave them. And then the pimp then believed it as well.
I've got a phone number, so I think next week I said we'll come back.
Now the pimp believes that we are legitimate customers. It allows us to make the arrangements that we are now in control of, not him.
So she's going to be at the pool party?
Next week I said we'll come back.
The new arrangement is going to tempt him with the big bucks. It's going to be the one that is allowing us to rescue as many children as possible. So we told the girls to inform the pimp that we were wanting to have a party, a pool party, and that he was to supply us and our staff with underage girls.
We went under the guise of construction entrepreneurs, and we'd just finished a big construction project here in Manila, and we rented a small resort with the idea of having a pool party, and we'd have a whole lot of kids. The pimp was all excited, saying he could easily supply 30 girls, maybe even up to 50. So we were very excited at the thought of getting 30 to 50 girls out in the one night.
Returning these two children to the street is necessary for the greater good of this operation. But watching vulnerable children leave like this is never easy for the agents.
You can imagine other men doing disgusting, horrible things to these young girls. It messes you up mentally, as well as, you know, puts a real heavy burden on your heart. I guess the biggest thing for me would be, you know, always focusing on why I'm there and for the greater good, rather than letting my emotions drive me and what I do. It's just a matter of time before we can rescue these girls.
The team are en route to the headquarters of the National Bureau of Investigation. Working with the Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force, they must finalize their plan to take down the pimp, his accomplices, and the rescue of multiple children under his control.
The one thing you can't overlook in this job is the detail. During the briefing, we had split up what intel we'd give to which team. So the drivers would get separate briefing, that they'd be shown different routes on how to arrive at the target area, when to arrive at the target area.
Sa team 1, this group will be the arresting team.
Then the main team composition of the poser buyers and the undercover police, they'd get a separate briefing again.
So kung team 1 kayo, pupunta kayo dun sa area ng sa left side. And then yung isa, yung team 2 sa right side.
Okay, so we've rented out the entire resort. It's like a double-story house with 2 pools on either side. It's split up down the middle by a concrete fence. I'd then go through another briefing with Destiny Rescue operatives and show them the different schematics of the place. So upstairs, there's a couple of rooms.
Which again, a joining door between the two.
That's right. Yeah. Pretty much all of your support team will be right next door. I then explain to them their role and what their scope is. Team A, or Pool 1, that's you guys, the poser customers, the party, the boys. I mean, just as a heads up, strike time will be 7 p.m. Make sure that it looks like a party.
So some of the cops will be swimming too?
Yes, they were instructed to.
Guys from Destiny Rescue will understand. Once they're inside the area for team 2, they should not go out anymore.
The staging area for the raid will be a rented holiday resort in the heart of the pimp's operational territory. Destiny Rescue agents, along with NBI arresting officers, will populate the building, staging the fake pool party.
You don't know each other. Team 1 is for the boys.
Behind a connecting door to an adjoining property will be Team 2. Support personnel comprising of additional female NBI agents and social workers who will take immediate care of the girls once the arrests have been made.
So less talk, less mistake. Good luck sa inyo. Ha? Hopefully, maging successful to operation na to.
Confirm, Team 1. They're saying that the pimp is sending messages. He's confirming he can deliver a large group of minors. Copy?
So tonight he's promised that he should be able to get us at least 30 children, hopefully more. He's enrolled the help of another 2 pimps, so there'll be 3 pimps out there bringing us children. We should be arriving there a bit before 6. The pimp will bring all the kids within half an hour or so. Then at 7 o'clock sharp, everything's going to change. The police will be arresting those 3 guys. They mentioned that they are expecting them to try and make a run, fight their way out, so it could be quite interesting at about 7 o'clock.
I'd say that there is a high chance that it could get pretty violent. We are dealing with males here who have an idea of what might happen to them once they get caught, and it could be an all or nothing situation. So we're going to try and contain that and diffuse that situation.
We'll all be very ready, good 5 or 10 minutes out, positioning ourselves around the doors and just making sure none of the pimps can get away, and obviously also making sure the kids are safe.
The staging area is hidden within a myriad of narrow back streets.
Turn left.
Team 1's final approach has not gone unnoticed. Multiple eyes are now on their vehicle, and it's causing some concern.
It was disorientating, like there was massive walls. It was off the main road, off the beaten track.
Turn at the second right.
Just to see all these lookout guys on every corner reporting back to different people was a concern. Guys who are following us on the motorbikes or leading us, who are they working for? Are they working for the resorts, or are they working for this guy who is very well connected within the city? And you could tell as we were getting closer and closer to where the operation would be, it just felt like the level of danger was rising. And even when we got to the compound of the resort, there's big, high gates where once you walk inside, who knows what's on the other side? It could be a setup. Are we walking into a dangerous situation?
The agents have arrived. They have just minutes to convincingly transform the empty resort into a party in full swing. Their attention to detail will be vital. Everything must look and sound authentic.
We set up the place with a lot of food, a lot of beer, there was barbecue there, there was a karaoke machine there that was turned on. Everything was looking very authentic.
We had alcohol there, but we weren't consuming it. We just open it and tip it into cups and lay it around like we'd been drinking, and pig on a spit and all these sorts of props that we would use to make it so that once the kids arrived and the pimps arrived, it would look like we'd been partying and we're ready to have fun with the girls, so to speak.
As Team 1 puts the finishing touches to the staged pool party, Team 2 arrives at the adjoining resort, where they will await the signal to move.
Once they get the go signal, they'll be entering through one of these doors here that connects this place and the place next door. And they'll be making sure that the arrests go smoothly and that the girls are separated from the suspects. Everything was going well. We had made a phone call at about 6 o'clock that evening to the pimp And that phone call was very positive. He said that he was out driving, collecting all the girls. We're expecting him here around 7. I thought the girls would have been here just after we arrived.
It makes no sense. Didn't bring it right down to the wire because we don't know if there's another 5 or 10 that are 10 minutes later.
For 1 hour, agents have been in continual contact with the pimp. But just minutes before he's supposed to arrive, he suddenly terminates a call.
That was our last phone call with him. That was the last point of contact that we had made that night. We tried reaching out to him because he stopped replying to our messages at that point.
What's your concern here then? You think that he's rumbled it?
Could have, but the last contact we had, which was a while ago, was that he was going around picking up the girls. So they're hoping he's driving and not answering, but he drives and not answering his phone.
We tried calling him several times, but his phone was turned off. That's when our hearts started sinking.
The original plan was 7 o'clock. We're too early.
Is he still coming? He's still coming?
Well, we think so, because the original plan is 7 o'clock. So hopefully.
Is this the worst bit then, Tony, the waiting?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What are we now, 7:30? Quarter past 7. It's meant to be all done and dusted at 7.
Yeah.
So haven't even got any girls here yet.
7 o'clock came, then 7:30 came, and then you could just feel the whole mood change. Like it was just a feeling that came over the place of maybe this isn't going to happen tonight.
It was then about half an hour after strike time that we were having real serious doubts about whether this case was going to move forward.
And that could be suspicious or someone's maybe tipped him off.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, frustrating.
Could he have just fallen into a no coverage zone? Could his battery just have died? Could he still just be driving around collecting these girls? We had to consider all of these things and wait it out.
I think it was maybe 8 o'clock or maybe closer to 8:30 where we hadn't heard from him at all.
It just didn't flow well, and we think he had lookouts all over the place, and for some reason he got a bit spooked and felt that it wasn't a real pool party and that we were after him. Well, obviously he's got someone that's given him tips, and the fact that he's not here, he's out somewhere making money tonight. So the kids that should be here are being pimped out tonight.
The sad thing is those, the expected 20 to 30 girls are not rescued. Like Tony said, they're still out there being abused by someone else tonight. So that's the disappointing thing and the sad thing. Just makes you angry.
Stand down. Confirm.
Just got confirmation. It's burnt. The raid's off. So now ladies take the car now. If you want to join us, they can. Otherwise, find your own way home. The police had decided to pull the pin on waiting any longer, and we realised then that the operation had been burnt. So it was very disappointing.
We suspect that there was a tip-off, possibly from one of the fixers. The fixers are the guys who we saw on the bikes earlier, escorting the vans or the holiday makers out to each of the different resorts. The pimp does have scope all the way out in this area. What he may have even done was go there ahead of time without us knowing. He may have checked with the fixers and asked if there was anything strange or what was going on in the area. It's very likely that it would have been from one of the fixers.
I suppose really what's at stake is the lives of those kids, you know, the future of those kids. And was tonight perhaps the only opportunity that might have ever come their way to get out of that lifestyle?
There's every possibility that's their reality. Yep. I mean, we used all of our boys in this operation, so every single one of us are burnt. So if we go back there trying to buy these kids out or set up another op, it won't work. And yeah, I'm just devastated. I mean, it tears out. Tears our guts out, but as much as ugly as it is tonight, I mean, there's no way that we would give up over a fail. It just messes with you when it happens, because you know their reality.
As disappointing as it is, you cannot dwell on it. You can't stay there. You've got to pick yourself up and focus on the next one and get these kids out. Keep going.